If God is so good, if God is so loving, then why does evil exist in the world? Many people ask that question, and this is how I answer it. In 1 John chapter 4 and verse 8, the Bible says, "He who does not love does not know God, for God is love." And because God is love, that's the reason why so much evil exists today. You see, God did not create evil. We will see where evil came from in the future. But evil arose from one of God's created beings. Does that mean that God created this person or this being imperfect? Absolutely not. You see, the Bible says that God created everything perfect. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 31, the Bible says, "Then God saw everything that He had made, and indeed it was very good." But He put into each and every one of His created beings only something love would do, and that is the freedom of choice. You see, with the freedom of choice, even though God would want us to choose plan A, we had the capacity to choose plan B or plan C or plan D and so on and so forth. But you see, with love, friends, comes freedom of choice. That is a byproduct of love, because love cannot be forced. If God did not give us the freedom to choose, there definitely could not be any sin. But you know what, friends? He should have simply made robots. But we are not robots. We are human beings with the capacity to love, to make decisions, to exercise our willpower. And why didn't God destroy that first being that made that evil choice from the very beginning, so we wouldn't have to suffer all those consequences? Well, that answer is very simple: because God is love. If He did that, then God would be a tyrant. If He knew that this being would rise up and be evil and be wicked, and so He goes and destroys that being, the minute He destroys that being and everyone else sees it, guess what? People begin to serve God out of fear and not out of love. Love cannot be forced. If I came into this room and I told you, stand up, I pointed a gun at you and I said, stand up, you would stand up. If I said, give me all your money, you do your best to give me all your money and your valuables. But if I told you, love me, you'd say, I can't. Because love cannot be forced. Love is a freedom of choice. And so, because God is love, He had to give everybody the freedom of choice. And at the very beginning, the whole universe did not understand what evil or sin was. They didn't understand what this bad choice was from the beginning. So even though God understood, He had to patiently wait and allow all these things to unfold so we would understand. God had to allow it to happen, even though He knew best. You see, friends, God is not partial. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 45, He makes His sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and He sends rain on the just and on the unjust. You know, friends, we ought to be thankful that God does not destroy us right away when we sin against Him, when we do bad things. He's a merciful God. He's a loving God. And not only those that believe in God are rich. Did you know that? Not only those that believe in God have good health. Not only those that believe in God live in big houses. God is not partial. Today, evil exists because God gave man a freedom of choice. He even had to give the murderer a freedom to choose. He even had to give the rapist freedom to choose. He even had to give the liar the freedom to choose to lie. He had to give every person, for better or for worse, the freedom of choice, with the possibility that we might not love Him back. Did you know that? And today, you might be watching this video and you're not a Christian. You might have chosen not to believe in God or to read His Bible or even go to church. But you know what? God is still love, and He still loves you. And all He's asking for is a chance. All He's asking for is to give Him a chance in your life. Don't let some hypocrites in church destroy the true image of who God is. Sure, you might have been hurt from some well-meaning Christian. I'm not asking you to give that person a chance. I'm asking you to give God a chance. How? Give His word a chance in your life. Understand who this God is of the Bible. Understand how much He really loves you, and that He has a home in heaven prepared for you. Understand how He wants to have a relationship with you, and He has still given you that power of choice today. That choice is still in your hands today, to give Him that chance or not. Why not? Taste and see that the Lord is good. Psalms 34, verse 8. I know that if you try Him, He'll satisfy the desires of your heart.